ready and excited. Get the season kicked off. Obviously, get a home game here at Lambeau, and just NFC North team. So we're excited about it and we're ready.
Jordan, is that what you practiced in, or were you still in that larger brace?
I'm in this. You know, this is what I've been practicing.
So that's just tape. Anything?
It's tape and a brace.
Okay.
Yeah.
How limiting is that
It's not limiting
at all?
So did Micah flip that dune buggy you guys were riding in Dubai?
Did he flip it?
When you said if you flip it, you got to come to the Packers, and the video they posted.
Man, hey. He actually didn't flip it, but I think we were able to get him. You know what I mean? Maybe we had a side bet going. The Doom Buggy stuff, that was a great time. We didn't flip it. We were safe out there. No one got hurt. But, man, I'm excited to have Micah Parsons here in Green Bay.
Did you have any inkling of this just because you guys share agents? And what do you think of just bringing a guy like that into this team?
No, it's amazing. You know, I had no idea. They did a great job of keeping it a secret. You know, I saw a lot of the rumors and things like that were floating around out there. And, you know, obviously there was probably some stuff going on. Who knows? But I don't know how all the rumors get out, things like that. But, no, I think they did a good job. Like, David didn't even tell me. Micah didn't tell me. So nobody kept me in on the loop. So was left out of that one. But I'm excited. You know, it's amazing. Obviously, you know, the flip side of that is really tough losing a player like Kenny Clark and, you know, everything that he's done for this organization and the player that he was, the person he was in this building. But, you know, it's tough, but I'm excited to, like I said, to have Micah.
I was going to say, how did you find out, like on social media, how did you find out about Micah coming?
Yeah, so Tom actually, shout out Tom, sent me a tweet, sent me the news of you know, Micah being traded here, and then obviously let me know that Kenny was part of that trade.
As a quarterback, what does a singular pass rush threat do? What do you think about as a quarterback if you're going against a guy like that?
I mean, I think anytime it's something that you got to plan for throughout the week. You know, anytime you're going against a really good edge rusher, you've got to have a plan to try and limit him, or else you know, those guys can easily wreck a game and throw off timing, things like that. So you just got to have a good plan going into a week, and obviously got to know where those guys are at on the field at all times. And you know, anytime they sub out of the game, you know, you got to you take your chances on dialing up some bigger shots, things like that. So you know, it's something you got to just prepare throughout the week for.
You said the bandage brace not limiting at all. Is that just a case that you kind of got used to dealing with it, or was it never much of an issue?
No, it's never been much of an issue having it wrapped up and things. I think just for me, it's just getting the strength back and things like that into my thumb has been the biggest thing. But yeah, the brace and the tape, nothing has been limiting.
How do you protect it when you hit the ground? Assuming you end up on the ground at least a couple times somehow or other.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't hit the ground at all yet. So I think that's one of those things that just got to figure it out on game time, and you know, obviously try and stay up as much as possible to keep myself protected. But we know it's football. You know, there's going to be instances where I'm going to get tackled, go to the ground, things like that. So I don't know. We'll see how it is. But the brace does a good job at just protecting my thumb, things like that. But yeah, I haven't been hit yet. So you know, Sunday will be my first opportunity to see what it feels like.
Jordan, are you going to be able to hand off with it, or do you think you'll still do modified stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to be able to hand off with it. Yeah.
Obviously, y'all emphasize getting off to fast starts every game, but after the way the last two Detroit games went a year ago, just how paramount is that? How much of an emphasis is that going into this one?
Yeah, very much so. You know, I think anytime you're going against a team who has, you know, a really good offense and also a good defense, it's paramount. You know, you got to start off with a hot start, put some points up, because you know, if you get behind, you know, an offense like that, you know, you got to be putting up points in a hurry to keep up with them. So, you know, they're a good team. We know who they are. We know what they're all about. And like you said, you know, based off last year, just that was a lot of, I feel like a lot of cases in the games were just slow starts, things like that. Got behind the 8 ball. So definitely want to come out swinging, come out fast, and just execute. You know, it just comes down to executing simple plays, throwing and catching, and make plays when the ball comes your way, and staying out of, you know, putting ourselves in bad positions with penalties and things like that, being behind the sticks.
Jordan, how much does it stick with you guys as a team getting swept by them last year? I mean, does that linger? Does that hang around? Do you just forget it and move on? Like, what's the approach?
No, it definitely sits with you. You know, I think not even going against the Lions, but just our performance against every team in the NFC North, you know, wasn't good enough, wasn't up to our standards. So that's definitely something that's lingered with us throughout the offseason. And you know, it's always a point that we focus on is trying to go out there and win the NFC North. You know, it starts with that. So we definitely got to a good test coming here week 1, be able to get us started on the right foot. So, we'll be ready for them, and it just comes down to going out there, executing, playing our best game.
Jordan, in what ways does week 1 feel different this year than the last 2 starters? Obviously, week 1, your first year starting, had its own nerves and emotions. Last year, the huge trip to Brazil. Now you're starting this at home for the first time in your career as well.
Yeah, I think week 1, there's always, some nerves in it. First game of the season, like we talked about before, all the just unscouted looks, not knowing exactly what they're going to be about this year on defense and things like that. So there's always some nerves, things like that. But, you get settled in the game pretty fast and get back in that mode of just going out there and playing. But I think the biggest thing is just, not knowing what to prepare for exactly with a new coordinator. So you never know what what you're going to see on Sunday. So you just got to be ready for everything.
Where is
how much can you hang on Matthew Bolton in the first game? How much he made it through every practice?
Can you hang on him? What do you mean by that?
How much can you put on him to carry the team or carry the receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that he doesn't have to do. He doesn't have to carry the team at all. I think what he's done is just making plays when the ball comes his way. And I think, especially at that receiver position, that's all you can do. You just got to go out there, do your 1/11th, try and focus on doing your job on every play and executing at a high level. And then, obviously, when the ball comes your way, go up there and make those plays. So, I think he's done a great job throughout camp, and I'm excited to see him once we get started on Sunday. But I don't think there's ever too much pressure on him to go out there and like you said, kind of put the team on his back. Just go out there and play your game, and make plays when the ball comes your way. But we still got other guys. We got Rome. Hopefully get Wicks back. Hopefully get Jerry back. We'll see about them. But we got other guys that it's not all on MG.
How much of a jolt does it give this team to have a player like Micah Parsons on your roster for week 1?
Oh, it gives us a big jolt. I think everybody was excited just because we know what type of player he is. We've played against him a couple years ago in the playoffs, so we know exactly who he is and what he's capable of out there on the field. So I think, you look at our defense, what we got already with RG, and put Micah on the other side of that. I think some exciting things can happen. So I'm excited to see them. I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm really excited to see him out there wearing that green and gold.
You did this podcast a couple of times, though, too, and he didn't ask you the generic questions. He was very detail-oriented, right? He asked you about your longest call and what you had on third down and breaking down stuff against the Cowboys. Do you think that actually helps him a little bit? He was very familiar with you and this team before he even got here when he was just analyzing things. And is he like that all the time? Is there no chill to him where it's always just very specific?
Yeah, I think Micah's he's a smart dude all around. I think he loves ball. He's very intelligent when it comes to football. And he's asking, like you said, he has smart questions. He's trying to learn about the offense and kind of our plan for going into a game and things like that. So I think that just shows you where he's at mentally, what he's thinking of outside in the off season. But at the same time, some of those interviews are just fun. We go back and forth messing with each other a little bit, but no, he's definitely a smart guy. So I'm just excited, like I said, see him out there on the field with us.
Jordan, you guys didn't face Hutchinson last year. What do you remember about him?
Yeah, no, I mean Hutchinson, he's a really good player. I think his tape speaks for himself. He's another guy who is a game wrecker. You got to know where he's at all times and have a plan to try and stop him. But like you said, we he was dealing with his injury last season, so didn't get to see him. But I think we'll be ready for him. We'll have a plan for him. But like you said, he's a very good player.
No easing into things at all. Detroit, Washington, right after that. Can you afford to look ahead and say how these are important games? They're at home against these NFC contenders, or is it literally what's right in front of you?
Right in front of you. I think that's always the mindset. What we try and focus on is never looking forward. Never looking ahead. Just focus on the team we got coming in this week and take care of business this week, and then we'll move on to the Commanders the following week. But I mean, like you said, yeah, we do have two good teams coming in here, and it'll be a good test for us to see where we're at early in the season.
Jordan, what have you thought of the way that going for it on fourth down has become in vogue even more year by year? It's not like you guys haven't done it. Dan Campbell's certainly known for it, but year by year it seems like offenses are more and more aggressive. Why do you think that is? And has it been noticeable during your career to change?
Yeah, I think a lot of that goes into just the analytics. I think coaches are playing the analytics and have good chances going for it on fourth down and picking up first downs versus whether that's punting, kicking a field goal, whatever that might be. And obviously field position plays into that. But yeah, we know the Lions are a team that's been aggressive in the past on fourth down, things like that. So I think all that just comes down to the mindset of the coaching staff and trusting the players, and obviously I think analytics plays a part in how they decide that.
And as an offensive player, do you like that's happening more and more as a guy who gets?
I always love standing on the field, go for it. I always got that confidence that we're going to pick it up, and then we'll figure it out after the fact. But I love that. I think anytime we go for it on fourth down, I think it just shows that confidence that the coaching staff has in us to be able to go out there and pick it up, and it just comes back to us to be able to go out there and execute. But yeah, I love going for it.
Jordan, what did you guys have to do to sort of make up for some of the lost reps? You were out, receivers were out, the O-line had some movement. What did you guys do to sort of make up for those lost snaps?
Yeah, no, we've been doing a good job. Obviously, I think Wicks, he's been back this week and been integrating him back. And, like you said, for him, it's kind of catch up. He's missed a lot of time, missed a lot of practice. But like I said before, he's a guy he's got banked reps. He's done this before. It's not like we're running new stuff. So he's just got to get back in that mode of, being in shape, being conditioned, and going out there and attacking these DBs. But he's done a great job this week going out there and making plays. So it's very noticeable having a guy like that back out there. But yeah, it's always something that, like I missed time too, where you just got to get back in that rhythm, get back in that flow of, going out there against other teams, because when you're just doing rehab, things on the side, it's just not the same.
Jordan, I guess how much pressure do you think comes off of a quarterback if you have a dominant defense and they're playing well? Do you feel like that takes pressure off you at all? Obviously, you still have to perform. Do you feel like it takes some of that feeling like you don't have to throw for 400 yards or just like have a spectacular performance?
No, I always look at it like I'm trying to go out there and put my best foot forward. Offense, we're trying to go out there and put our best foot forward. Obviously, you want the defense to go out there and do the same and be as dominant as possible. And when that happens and they're getting stops back to back and making it tough for offense to score, obviously that plays in our favor. But at the end of the day, we still got to go out there as offense and put up points. We can't be just sitting back relying on the defense to get stops and hopefully hold teams to low scores. We got to be on the attack. And I always got that attacking mindset that we got to go. I'm trying to put up as many points as possible every game. So we always got that mindset.
Two more for Jordan.
When Brian Gutekunst says last January that it's time to contend for championships, and he goes out and gets Micah, does that create a different level of urgency in the locker room, do you think?
Yeah, I think every season we got to have that level of urgency to have that mindset that we're going to go out there and compete for it. But I think, like you said, bringing a player like Micah just shows what Goody's thinking. The team we have this year and what we're getting prepared for. So obviously, he always says he's trying to put the best team out there and bring in the best guys as possible to make us the best team. So I think there's always kind of that pressure, and that's always the mindset, is go out there and want to compete for a Super Bowl. It starts with the NFC North, but adding a player like that, to a defense who I already thought was really good. So I'm just excited to see it. But at the end of the day, it always comes back to us. We got to go out there, make plays, execute. A roster, who you got on it doesn't win you games. So we got to go out there and make those plays.
Should Lambeau announce the offense and then you last before the game, or the defense?
Nah, they gotta do defense. They gotta do defense. Micah last, The crowd's gonna go crazy. I already see it. Defense go out there first, get a 3 and out. Micah get a sack on third down.